A while back I had learned of OpenRCT2 and all the cool things that it could do, so I wanted to give it a shot by making something new yet familiar. So I loaded up one of my favorite maps from back in the day, Dynamite Dunes, and decided to try my hand at making a nice, aesthetically pleasing park. I used to play as a kid a lot, and back then, well, my parks weren't as pleasing. So this is the result, and I wanted to make a video of it to highlight all my favorite details, and maybe you can find some inspiration. Alright, so here's the entrance. It's a typical entrance, a little food stand. Just wanted to put drinks because I like it when they eat farther away, even though I know that's kind of a myth. It's got a little train station here that goes to the back of the park, and then a simple pirate ship off this little oasis. And next we got this little kind of like cabin area. This is kind of like supposed to be an oil refinery. I think I even named this Oil Blaster. Oh, and this is the oil refinery. And then it's got this like little car track that goes all through the facility. And then the other two buildings back here, this is the line for Splash Mountain. I wanted to make it kind of fit into the mountain that it goes into a little bit. It's like sort of a cabin area looking thing. And this is just like a simple building that actually has like spinning rings. Which back then I didn't know you could clear the clearance checks to put things behind other buildings. Just something I learned later on. But let's check out Splash Mountain. So this is just right here. It's kind of the centerpiece of when you first walk in. It goes up this huge mountain here and then just kind of slides all the way down. The big drop right there. It has pretty decent stats, I think. Just high and medium, so it's not too intense. It's a nice, easy ride to get into when you first get in the park. And down here, you have this Roman flush. It's kind of like a launch coaster that goes up here, but then rides it all the way backwards through the loop and around the Roman thing. Coliseum or whatever it's called. And then you kind of have this ease into the loop until it slows down and it kind of gains speed back down all the way and reverses. Kind of a strange looking ride, but I don't know, I felt it was kind of unique. And we'll just go along the path here. The train just continues to go all the way to the back there. Got this little Ferris wheel here and the merry-go-round. Paths just kind of go along the borders of the park. And then on the other side of Splash Mountain, we got this big logging ride. Just call it Log Factory since it looks a little bit modern. Got all the peeps going in through here. And like the little kind of staff area I've got going on up here with the one worker. Just kind of going around. You got all the waterfalls from the main mountain going both ways. There's just kind of some shading in certain areas and goes indoors as well. And then over here, the last thing on the mountain is this little house on the hills. I kind of like to always put the haunted houses like embedded and stuff so it doesn't just look like a random house just sitting out flat. Kind of think it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing that way. It blends into the mountain. And here's just kind of another little building with the egg scrambler. And then of course you got the original roller coaster here, Dynamite Blaster. Didn't feel like changing it out since I kind of actually like the way it moves around and everything. It just feels really nostalgic. I did add this kind of like extension here so it starts off as if it's like in a building and then it drops out of it. And then this little thing right here is just kind of like a laser dome VR. I'm big into VR, so I kind of like to pretend that they're in there doing something crazy with VR. And I guess we can go down this way. This kind of just goes along this big like wooden coaster path. There's like a little food area, bathroom up there. And you can see the ways just kind of going. It's kind of sectioned off. Another little food area over here, bathroom that goes there. Nice slider in the same color scheme. And then of course here's the actual entrance to the wooden roller coaster itself, which, let's see, kind of high intensity, probably because of this huge ass drop. I was trying to work within the limits of the space, so I don't know, it's kind of a little easier when I can make the scenario up myself, I suppose. But I still like the way it turned out. It's kind of like a crazy, unrealistic coaster maybe. And on the other side of it you got this suspended coaster. Call it Telsa Launch. It's pretty simple. It has one drop, goes around, passes Dynamite Blaster, kind of loops around, goes back, and goes around this little vortex thing. Kept it the same kind of color scheme as the laser dome and the bumper cars over here. And then this area is kind of like the go-karting area. It's like our knockoff Nintendo area. It's Luigi Kart, Wario Kart, Toad Kart, Mario Kart. They're all like differently sized to give variety. I think they might even have different lap lengths. Like that one's 1 lap. That one's 4 laps, so since it's so small. And you just got a little food court over here. And then going back this way, we have Mummy's Tomb, which kind of goes with this Egyptian theming here. Just kind of an easy kids ride in the back of the park. And I'll get to that coaster in a minute, but here's the back of the train where it came from the front. Just constantly goes back and forth, which is kind of a nice way to get there and back. Then over here you have another like Egyptian kind of themed worm dunes, kind of named after Dune, of course. But it's like a nice kiddie ride. It's not too intense. Let's see. But it's still got a pretty good high, and medium. It's not too bad. Pretty good family-friendly kind of coaster. And since we've gone all around, there's only this main final dueling coaster over here. You can kind of see if I had the baseland. This path over here, it goes underground. There's like a bathroom, some food under here just to have easier things, but it goes up. This is the exit of the logging place, but it actually goes up here, passes the 2 entrances. Those are the 2 exits of the ride, and then keeps on going this way where it comes back up in this little area. So it's kind of like there's an invisible path that just goes in between these 2 points. Not sure if the AI makes it so these don't fill up as much, but it seems to manage. But anyway, this coaster, I call it Sunrise and Sunset. It's exactly the same, just mirrored, and they both go at the same exact time, which is pretty nice and I like to think aesthetically pleasing to the eye. You see up here, I kind of wanted to go for like a Tower of Babylon kind of theme with all the waterfalls and the green foliage, flowers and stuff. This just kind of turns to a half loop, corkscrew, goes around the loops. Let's see, that's sunset and sunrise, and they're pretty decently high, almost a 7. Low kind of a lower intensity for the high. The nausea rating isn't even terrible at all. Can kind of get rid of the scenery, show a little more of the inside. It's got massive lines. They don't really fill up as much, but they fill up the cart, so it's not too bad. So yeah, that's pretty much all the details. This was my first park in OpenRCT2 that I really put any effort into, so I definitely learned a lot. Like, over here, I did all of this with just only knowing the shift command to make it go up and down. I had no idea that you could hit control and move it around on the same level, which would have saved like a ridiculous amount of time if I had known. But I've definitely learned it since then and incorporated it into my new parks. Also learned stuff like having the invisible entrances. That makes a pretty cool effect. I I didn't know about clearance checks, so I was putting all the walls on the outside border, which makes like these little gaps. So now that I know, you can actually place them on the inside if you disable the clearance check so it can snug up against a invisible entrance or exit. Yeah, and that's my rendition of Dynamite Dunes. I've made a couple other parks in OpenRCT, so I think I may even upload those when I get to the chance. If you liked it, let me know.